Hello everybody, this is TechHut. About a month or so ago I uploaded a video going over all of these services that I'm currently running in my home lab. Great video, I do recommend you check it out. One of the ones that I talked about was my dashboard. Which is this right here. This is Homarr, assumably deriving its name from the applications it oh so well integrates with. It is beautiful, fully functional, far from perfect, but I've tried a lot of different options, and out of all of them, this one by far is my personal favorite. Granted, there are some other fantastic options, and I will link down below to any others that I've covered. Now, it's all customizable. You can customize it through the GUI, which is very nice. We have widgets. Just a quick overview, you see some of the applications in my home lab. There's a status indicator saying if it's on or offline via a ping. I've moved everything around to my preference. Over here we have a widget for Overseer, which is a media requesting service right here. We have integration with various download clients. These are my current torrents. We got a JRE archive stuff that I'm pulling. Over here is my current download speed. I started one of these just to kind of demonstrate how this works. We could see a history of the download speed for various clients. You can see NZBGit is included there as well. Right here we have a calendar, which again links really well with some of these Sonar Overseer services. If I click on 2, we can see a little dot right there. Click on that. Ooh, there's a new episode of SpongeBob coming out. We got a link to IMDb and all that. If I click right here on the 21st, another episode of SpongeBob and Napoleon releases, which I'm really looking forward to. And then we have some other links. We have a current playing thing. I'm going to start something just to show what that looks like. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, reindeer. There we go, so you can see Plex Web. That's me playing Rudolph. If I give that a click, I can see some very specific information on the exact playback and whatnot. Click that again, it goes down, and this integrates both with Jellyfin and Plex, which I do run both of them. If you want to know why I run both of them, I have a separate video on that. Plex is primary, Jellyfin's kind of my backup, because Plex is definitely imperfect. Over here we do have some search functionality. If I click on Docker over here, you could see all the Docker integrations. You could set it up so it will see everything, and then you can easily add tiles through here if you would like to, as well as kind of manage some of the containers. So I can restart, stop, start, and remove containers through here, which is appreciated. If I click the little hamburger menu over here, we have some additional settings. We have switch to light mode, which I am not going to do. We have disable of edit mode, and then we have settings here. If I go over to settings, there's not as many settings as I would prefer, but enough that it works. We have the options for our search engine, general language stuff. We could clear our cache, download our config if we're going to move this configuration to a different system or whatever. Save a copy of it. If I go over to customizations, we do have a lot of stuff here. We have our general layout, which you can enable and disable various sidebars, search bars, pings. We have grid stack, so how you want these actual tiles and whatnot to behave via the size, which is customizable depending on how large the window is. We have some accessibility stuff and some page metadata, so you can change the title, logo, and whatnot. And then of course some appearance settings, so you have primary, secondary, opacity, and of course if you have a little more skill set than me, you can add your very own custom CSS. Now, actually getting this set up is pretty easy. What we're gonna do, that was kind of the really quick overview. We're gonna set up a new instance on a separate machine, and then I'm going to add some services so you can see kind of the process of customizing this, rearranging tiles, and linking some of these integrated services. But before that, we need to thank Akamai Connected Cloud for sponsoring this video. It is incredibly easy to spin up your very own Linode on the service, and you can use it for a wide variety of things. They are Linux servers in the cloud. I personally use it to host a lot of the backend services on my website through various Docker containers like Plausible. We have project management tools, a bunch of different things. I do recommend you go ahead and check it out. And better yet, if you are a new user of the platform, you can use the link down below to get a $100 60-day credit. This right here is their website. Here you can learn more, install it, you can access all the documentation, you can see some of the information. If you want a little more information beyond what I've covered, you can definitely check out their website. If we head over to documentation here, and under introduction, we can see the prerequisites, installation, and all that. Just a quick overview. These are the widgets that are available. So you have Usenet, torrent, there's RSS, media servers. You can add iframes through here, and really a lot more than what I'm using, including weather, which is nice. And then if we go to integrations, we can see the actual services that link up really well with this, such as various torrent clients, Usenet clients, collection managers, which this is kind of the main purpose of this, I would say. If you use any of these services, even if you use another dashboard, having this as the kind of dashboard for your media is still very beneficial. It links up with Sonar, Radar, LiDAR, and Radar, Homarr. You're getting the point. Media servers, it does link up with Dash, which is nice. Overseer and Jellyseer. So Overseer is mostly for Plex. If you want to use Jellyseer, that is an option as well. And of course, as you saw, Docker. And then if we scroll down, you get a lot more specific information and tutorials and the configuration options that you have available for all these different things, but we will see a lot of those when we actually dive into the installation, which we are going to do now if we go over to prerequisites. This supports Linux. It also supports Docker, which you can run on a lot of things, but if we go over here to installation, click on installation, you can see the prerequisite is Docker, and installing this is actually pretty easy. Here is our Docker run command. So the name is Homarr, restart it unless stopped. This is the default port that you are going to want to do. We have a couple path configuration options here, and then of course our actual image. Now, if I scroll down, we have some more stuff. This is our actual Docker Compose file, which is very nice. And if I keep scrolling down here, you can see that we have options for Unraid, which is how I'm actually currently using it. If you know how to use Unraid and you use the applications with Unraid, it's pretty straightforward. And then they have all of the options here. Now, one thing that is left out is the Docker integration. If we go over to integrations, Docker, you could see that we are going to need to give access to the Docker sock. You might as well do that. It is a feature unless if for some reason you don't want it to be able to access your other containers. So with that said, we're going to be installing this via Protainer. If you're not going to be using Protainer, again, it's really easy. It's just this command right here, but you're going to want to add that Docker sock volume. So what I'm going to do is scroll back down here to this Docker Compose file. We're going to grab this, give that a copy, and then head over to Protainer. This is my Intel NUC. I already have it installed on Unraid over here. I do need to fix the agent. That's a different topic. So within here, we are going to go to stacks. We're going to make a new Docker stack. So let's add a stack. This stack is going to be Homarr. And then all we need to do is paste in what we copied. Over here in the Docker integration, I'm going to go ahead and grab this sock so it can communicate with all the other containers. Head back over to Protainer, and then I'm going to add this right here, getting rid of the -v. That's if you're running it as a command. Now right here for the volumes, we're actually going to do this somewhere else. Now you could theoretically just run this as is. This will create a hidden Homarr directory within your root directory on your system. But what I'm going to do is SSH into our terminal. So SSH, type in your username for your Linux server that you're wanting to host this on and your IP address. Hit enter. Ooh, there's some updates. We're going to skip that for now. I'm going to do an ls just to show you guys what we got going on. You can see I ran Geekbench on here, but we have some folders. We have Grafana, Plex, and Prometheus. Just on this server, its main function is kind of running various Docker containers, so I put a lot of the configuration stuff within the user home directory here. So we're just going to make a new directory. I'm going to do make dir, and this is going to be Homarr. Hit enter. Now if I ls, we can see Homarr. So I'm going to go ahead and cd into that real quick and make two more directories. This one I'm going to call configs, and then we're going to make another one called icons. ls, there we go. So now to make life easy, if I go ahead and print the working directory, hit enter, I'm just going to grab this right here, home Brandon Homarr. I'm going to grab before configs and paste this in. There we go. And then let's grab before icons and paste that in. So this is going to be our actual locations here. And this is going to point in the container to data configs and public icons. Now, I'm not going to do it at the moment, but generally one thing I do is give my user access to this so I can edit configs and whatnot. I'm not going to do that now. It technically adds some security concerns, but this should be all we need. Oh, we don't want this. Docker Compose YML, let's get rid of that. There we go. So from there, let's go ahead and deploy this stack. It should take no time at all. It's a relatively small, lightweight service. And there we go. The stack is deployed successfully. If we now go to our containers, we should have Homarr right there up and running. We could check the logs if we want to, make sure there's no issues. It's listening on the proper port, which is nice. Head over to our containers again, and all looks well. So now if we go to, let's get rid of the S and then go to port 7575, enter. There we go. So this right here is the default dashboard that you get when you first install it. We have our weather here. We have a couple links to help you out. You could donate to them. We have some times, documentation, and then some tips and tricks right here. Now, a lot of these, you could just click on an edit. You could see this Homarr's notebook, which is a little getting starting thing. We could click this little edit icon here and edit this directly if we'd like to. And same goes for some of these links. If I click over here, go to enter edit mode, this is where we actually get the actual settings for various things. So instead of just a text edit, if I click this again, we could completely remove it, change the position, we can edit it. And this one specifically doesn't have too many options here. Now, if we go to a different one, such as one of these, if I click this, go to edit. This right here is a simple bookmark. We have the name, the internal IP address, which is just going to link up to a domain here. We have various behaviors, so we can add a description. We can add a network and add a status checker if we want to. I'm not going to do that. And we have appearance. So with everything, you could change the icons, the app name, the font size. There's a lot of different things. And then we have integration. This doesn't really have an integration, but we could see all the options that we have here. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel this and let's create a new one. So right here, we can add a tile. I'm going to demonstrate one of the integrations real quick, and hopefully it works right away, or else we're going to have to kind of troubleshoot. So if I go apps here, your app, this is going to be our torrent client. So I'm going to skip right to integration and get this right here. This is what I currently have set up. I'm going to go back to general, paste that on in. Now for our internal address, we're going to paste this. This is the actual IP address associated with this service. It's not on these same machines, so I'm interested if it's going to work right away or if we're going to have to play around with the ports or whatever. We have behavior. I'm not going to add a description. Open a new tag. Network. Status checking is perfectly fine. Appearance, it automatically pulls the icon for us since we've put in the integration. I'm pretty sure it works with just putting in the name as well. So we have some other options. You could change the name of the app position, etc., etc. Now let's go over to integration here. So our new secret. Now I do believe, good, that this is just the generic password I have set up for this. Some of them require API key and some extra information. So for there, I'm going to click on save and we have it right here. So let's see if it can go ahead and ping it. Real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and move it up here. And of course, one thing that's cool is we could actually change the icon sizes if we would like to. So you got a big old option to click our torrent client there. I'm not sure why the indicator is not coming up at the moment. Again, I did mention that this is imperfect because usually it shows if it's not working with the red. Ah, there it is. I'm an idiot. Enable pings, and we actually want to enable Docker integration. And actually, let's enable our left sidebar here. Why not? Oh, look, there you go. It's red, it's pinging, it's flashing. Good to go. Now, since that's working, it can actually see that service. Let's see if the integration is working. So what we are going to do now is, once again, enter edit mode. We're going to want to add a tile. This time, we're going to do a widget. Now, there are a lot of widgets to choose from. Not as many as I would like, but definitely a good amount. You have notebooks, bookmark, media request statuses, video streams, which is super cool. Pretty sure you could use like an IP camera, set that up with another service. Download speeds, torrents. So our torrent client should be able to support both of these. That's what I currently have set up on my other system. So I'm going to add to dashboard. Let's just do both of them. Close that out. And there we go. Look at that. It is gathering our download speeds. Here's our actual torrents. And of course, you'd want to move this around to make it kind of line up with exactly what you want it to look like. And of course, the bigger you make them, the more data you get. I can move this back up here. And I will note that moving these around only saves that configuration for the size that your window is. So you might want to adjust it until things change, move everything around again, so on and so forth. And then we just move some of these around. And that's one thing I really like about this is you could just move everything as you see fit. A lot of other things that I've used in the past require editing configurations for the simplest of things. I like that this has the user interface to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to exit and save here. So this is our new kind of setup for the moment. Now the Docker integration. Let's see if that worked, which it did. Setting up that Docker sock volume makes it so it can see just about everything. Now from here, I could go ahead and click on Plex. Let's go to Protainer. We have a bunch of Chasm stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and select Mealy and then Tesla Mate Grafana and Tesla Mate. So if I go ahead and add all of these, oh, guess we can only do one at a time. Let's uncheck some of these. There we go. It only likes it when you do one. So let's do add to Homarr. And here you're going to want to do some configuration. I wish it could kind of pull the IP address. And you saw there when I switched it to Plex, it did pull it, so you don't have to do the integrations. It will search a database and find the application depending on the name. But I'm not going to do that. Behavior, network, okay, okay. Integration, there is a Plex option right there. But I'm going to skip this for now because I don't feel like going and grabbing my API key. Go over here and then we can see Plex. It's showing up red right now, but it is working. If I added that integration, it would probably see it a little bit better. Oh, I forgot to save it. It's gone. Oh well, you get the point. It's pretty easy to set up tiles. It's really nice. You can just move things around. If I go back to edit mode, you can see here if I go to add a tile, we also have categories. So if I clicked on that, I could call this something like media, click on save. And then if I scroll down here, you could see this separate kind of section. Oh, there it went. It just moved itself. Cool. Boom. We'll put this in here. And I really wish you could move these around and kind of group it, but that doesn't look like it's a feature right now. That is definitely a request I have. So that is an option. I wish you can move these around. If I click on this, you can open all of whatever's in here in a new tab if you'd like to, which could be handy. But yeah, that is Homarr. That is the dashboard I am using. Real quick, if I add a new tile, apps, integration, connecting it with something like Sonar or Radar just requires the API key. It should work perfectly fine, especially if it's within your network and you don't have any problems connecting it to it otherwise. So with all that, I will link down below to everything that I talked about in this video. Again, you could technically set this up on Linode if you'd like to, as well as a bunch of other Docker containers. There are a bunch of options with Linode, including their one-click installers. Use that link down below if you are interested. And with all that, I do hope you have an absolutely beautiful day, and goodbye.